He's running 30 points back, and this is a party that needs to come together to face a Democratic opponent that has no primary challenger. So really, I think that this is the sort of thing that happens in politics. It was not meant to be malicious. It was between Mike and Jan, two guys that know each other pretty well. I think what is most alarming is the reaction from Steve Poizner. I think, Republicans have to be concerned. I mean, this guy and his erratic behavior is the type of thing that if we nominate a candidate that can't hang in there because there are a couple of guys that have emails, it calls into question whether or not he's going to be able to take on the Democrats in the fall. And so, I think from our perspective, the most alarming thing that came out of this was the response from Steve Poizner.
Did Murphy cross the line by putting it in print? A lot of folks have said, well, you can mention these things. You can pick up the phone and insinuate. But did he make a mistake by putting it in print and putting it inside of an official missive from the Whitman campaign?
No, not at all. Like I said before, I mean, this was an email between two guys that know each other, and he was trying to work in the best effort of the party, as well as Steve Poizner. If you look at Steve Poizner, he is a strong candidate for statewide office. It's just that this is the office that he's pursuing. He doesn't appear to have the wherewithal to carry through till November. And so I think that what's missed in a lot of this is that the email that was furnished by the Poizner campaign actually offers a lot of compliments to Steve Poizner, saying that, hey, look, in the future this might be a guy that we look to, but right now, at this time, we need a credible candidate that can speak about jobs, that can talk about cutting spending, that has the skills and proven leadership to move the state in the right direction. There isn't a lot of coalescence behind Steve Poizner's campaign, and he's shown that he's prone to some pretty erratic behavior. I think the Republicans need to look at Meg as the way forward.
A lot of folks are saying that Meg Whitman, she's rich, she's a billionaire, she's trying to buy this campaign. Is that what's going on?
Well, only to the extent that Steve Poizner is trying to do the same thing. I mean, I think that that's a hollow argument. Everyone knows that this is an incredibly difficult environment to run in California. It's an expensive proposition to run for governor in this state, but she's shown to have incredible fundraising support. She's raised a record-breaking $10.5 million in 2009. She's shown a lot of momentum going forward. I think that when you evaluate these two candidates, what sticks out is that Meg has been able to raise support from Californians. She's raised more money in the state of California than any other gubernatorial candidate, and it's true that she's financially given to her own campaign. But so, Poizner's done the very same thing. This is a guy that's saying that we're trying to self-finance, and he's decrying the expensive nature of a statewide campaign in California. All the while, he's slipping $19 million into his campaign coffers. It seems a bit hypocritical to me.
Once again, we're talking with Meg Whitman campaign spokesman Tucker Bounds on the issue of the press conference and the accusations of threats. What did Mike Murphy mean by wood chipper, which was spoken, not written, and will tear you up? I mean, is that a personal threat, Tucker?
Absolutely not. I mean, Eric, you and I both know that politics can be, it's not beanbag. I mean, even Steve Poizner I heard him on the radio this morning saying politics is not beanbag. Well, the fact is this is an email that was sent between two consultants. Mike tends to be colorful in email, and he was simply saying that we're going to run a spirited campaign. Both campaigns are going to have finances to wage contrasting messages, and what is best for the overall party, and what's best for Steve Poizner. I tend to think that what's best for the party is us getting behind a proven leader that has shown that she has the skills to move large groups of people, manage large groups of people in the right direction, manage complex budgets, and do the things that need to happen in Sacramento. I think that if you look at Steve Poizner and his record in Sacramento, you look at his overspending, you look at his past support and previous support for higher taxes, he's part of the problem in Sacramento. What we need to move toward is someone that is going to take on the tough tasks of shrinking down government spending, creating jobs, and providing a much more competitive business climate in this state. So, I'm a biased source, but Mike has a tendency to be colorful in his email, but certainly all he was talking about is a spirited campaign.
Let me bring him into this part of the interview as well. And we're hearing today that Meg Whitman has decided that she does not want to debate coming up March 6th or even the 7th during the statewide Republican Party. Is that factual and true?
No, it's not even true, Eric. The fact is that we have agreed to debate, and we're the only right now we're the only gubernatorial campaign that has agreed to debate on March 15th on the filing date down in Orange County in front of Republicans. Let's talk about the issues. Let's get down to what's important. There hasn't even been an official invitation from the state GOP. And I mean, I hate to delve into the process of this, but this is an age-old strategy from a campaign that's trying to find traction. I've worked on these campaigns. I've worked on losing campaigns. I've worked on winning campaigns. And one thing that's pretty consistent among the campaigns that lose is they always try and turn debate strategy into the central issue. The central issue is who's going to be able to create jobs. The central issue should be who's going to cut government spending, who's going to really fix the K-12 education. It's not the debate schedule. There's already one debate on the books, and Steve Poizner hasn't even agreed to do it.
So that's March 15th. That's the filing date for folks who don't know. Once again, you have to file to go on, and Steve Poizner has not filed it, as far as I know. Correct?
He has not filed. He has not filed. He has not agreed to be in that debate. And if you were to ask me, I think that Steve Poizner is trying to dodge debates. I think that if Republican voters are out there listening right now, you got to question the cynicism of a candidate that's running around the state saying that we're not agreeing to debates when there's one debate that's been agreed to, and he has not agreed to do it.
Now, hasn't it been protocol, though, for the gubernatorial candidates to at least have some type of forum or face-to-face time for a straw poll at the convention?
Well, I'm not entirely schooled on what the overall precedent is for these types of things. I know that debates at the state party are not an overwhelming precedent. I think there have been a couple isolated instances in the past, but like I said, there's been no invitation from the California Republican Party to have a debate at this time, and we're going to have debates. We've got one on the books. We want to get with Steve Poizner and debate the issues on March 15th on the filing deadline if he proves to make it till that point in time in the race. And then we're going to look at debates after that.
All right, Tucker, let me toss this one your way. All right, Murphy's been involved, Mike Murphy, in preparing a lot of candidates, novice candidates for political debates. A lot of folks talk about Sarah Palin, correct? And you sit folks down and you try to prepare them and school them a little bit. Has Mike Murphy sat Meg Whitman down, and is Meg preparing for debates? And then my follow-up question would be, is she not ready yet, and is that reason for the delay? Tuck?
No, not at all. Meg's preparing for debates every day when she's on the trail talking to voters directly. She's talking about her plans for targeted tax cuts so we can grow jobs in this state. She's talking about creating a more competitive business environment so that people aren't going across the border to Nevada or Oregon or Washington, these other states that have more favorable economic business climates. She's doing the hard work. She's got a couple of events today in Los Angeles. She's talking to newspaper reporters. She's talking to TV reporters. She's been on your show a couple times in the past, Eric. She's going to be on your show again this week. She's preparing for the debate every single day of this campaign. And I'm pretty confident that when it happens, she's ready. She's up to the task.
Poizner released today that Meg Whitman is canceling radio interviews all this week in California, that she canceled an interview on KGO, that she canceled an interview on KPCC. Is that true, Tucker?
This is from the same guy that called for an FBI investigation into an email between two consultants talking about the process of a campaign. Of course that's an absurd suggestion by Steve Poizner. She hasn't canceled a single interview in this state this week. She's out there on the stump talking to Republican activists today. She's doing an interview on this station, on this air, this week. I mean, this is the type of absurd suggestions and created issues from a campaign that is struggling to get traction. You know what? I almost empathize because I know what it's like to be in a campaign where you're left without a lot of options. But at the end of the day, let's start talking about the issues. Poizner's, he's attacking staff. He's caught up into the process, and that's not what voters want to hear from, or they don't want to hear about that stuff. And I'm confident that we've got larger issues that Republican voters really want to delve into, particularly talking about the budget, how we're going to be able to fix this economic climate in the state, as well as the budget crisis we're facing. So let's get out of this process stuff and start focusing on what's important.
Well, I will say this: at least we have a pulse this week.
That's true.
That is true.
It's raging water this week.
It is. Tucker, I appreciate the time. Thank you, my friend.
Thanks, Eric.
Tucker Bounds of the Meg Whitman campaign.